Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a kind of hidden code, a set of principles that, believe it or not, quietly organizes our totally chaotic digital lives. And you might be surprised where it comes from. I mean, we all feel this, right? Every single day, we're practically drowning in information. News feeds, search results, you name it. So how in the world do we navigate this endless ocean to find what we're actually looking for? How do we find that one single drop of truth? You'd probably think the answer has to be some cutting-edge algorithm or some brand new piece of tech, but what if I told you the blueprint for solving this exact problem was laid down nearly a century ago? Yeah. Get this. 1931. Our story doesn't start in Silicon Valley. Nope. It starts in a library with a man who is just deeply unhappy with the way things were being done. This is Dr. S.R. Ranganathan. So he's studying librarianship in London back in the 1920s, and he looks at how libraries are run and basically thinks this is a mess. He saw that they were just based on these old traditions and, as he called them, rules of thumb. His analytical mind just couldn't deal with that. He knew there had to be deeper, more scientific principles that could turn these dusty old warehouses into living, breathing centers of knowledge. And this is what he created. The 5 laws of library science. And let me tell you, this wasn't just some list of rules. It was a completely revolutionary philosophy. It was a set of core principles designed to make information services efficient, effective, and maybe most importantly, available to everyone. Okay, let's dive into the first law, which honestly might have been the most radical idea of them all at the time. It's a simple statement, but with huge implications. Books are for use. To really get how huge this was, you have to picture it. For centuries, the main job of a library was just preservation. In medieval times, they literally, and I mean literally, chained books to the shelves. Ranganathan's first law just flips that whole idea on its head. He said the value of a book isn't that it exists, it's that it gets read. Today, the chains just look different, right? They're digital paywalls, they're restrictive copyrights, they're password-protected files. So this first law is a timeless battle cry for open access. Information wants to be used. All right, the next 2 laws, they kind of work together. Think of them like the ultimate matchmaking service, but for connecting people and information. The second law is it's so beautifully democratic. It says that for every single person out there, no matter who you are or what you're into, there's a book for you, and the library's job is to help you find it. It basically establishes access to information as a fundamental human right. Then the third law looks at the same puzzle, but from the other side. It says that for every single book, for every piece of information, there's a reader somewhere out there who needs it. No document should ever just sit on a shelf, whether it's a real shelf or a digital one, just collecting dust. It has a purpose, and that purpose is to find its person. So why are these 2 laws so critical? Well, Ranganathan himself explained it perfectly. He knew that most of the time, we don't actually know what we're looking for until we stumble upon it. Our interests only really start to become clear when we can browse and explore. So the library can't just sit back and wait. It has to be an active matchmaker. And boom, this is where the modern library that we all recognize comes from. These laws gave us open shelves that you can wander through, a helpful staff whose entire job is to know the reader and know the books. And yeah, the whole idea of a reference librarian, a person whose whole purpose is to connect you with what you need. Okay, on to the last 2 laws. These are all about the nuts and bolts of running a great information system, making sure it's efficient for us today and that it's ready for whatever comes tomorrow. The fourth law is basically the golden rule of user experience, long before we even had a term for it. Save the time of the reader. Ranganathan said a library's success isn't about how many books it has, it's about how efficient it is. Every single thing, from the way it's cataloged to the way you check out, should be designed to get you what you need fast. Because a frustrated user, that's a system failure. The 5th and final law is just such a powerful metaphor for the future. He said a library is not a static thing. It's not a building full of dusty objects. No, it is a living, growing organism. So what does that actually mean? Well, think about it. It means the collection of information is always getting bigger. The community it serves is always growing and changing. The staff has to constantly learn new things and offer new services. And just like any living thing, it has to get rid of old cells. You have to weed out the old, irrelevant stuff to make room for the new. It has to constantly adapt to survive. So, okay, we've got these 5 incredible principles from way back in 1931. A focus on use, on matchmaking, on efficiency, on growth. So what? What does any of this have to do with our digital world? Well, as it turns out, absolutely everything. Flash forward to 2004. A scholar named Alireza Norouzi publishes a paper that makes this just mind-blowing connection. He showed how Ranganathan's 5 laws don't just apply to libraries. They are a perfect description of the principles behind the World Wide Web. And here it is, the direct translation. Norouzi showed that if you just swap book for web resource and reader for user, the laws map perfectly. Books are for use becomes web resources are for use. Save the time of the reader becomes save the time of the user. It's an absolutely perfect one-to-one match. This is the hidden philosophy that makes the best parts of the internet actually work. And the key thing here is that this isn't just some neat academic exercise. This philosophy is the invisible architecture behind so much of what we do online. Think about it for a second. What is a search engine's entire purpose? To save your time and match you, the user, with the right web resource. The whole open source software movement, it's built on the idea that code is for use. Ranganathan's laws are like the ethical source code for a healthy digital world. Which leaves us with this final, fascinating question. Ranganathan's principles have guided us for almost 100 years, from chained books all the way to the global web. So as we move into an age of AI and even crazier information systems, what timeless principles are we going to need to guide us next?